everybody, welcome back to another edition of 30 Teams in 30 Days, my NBA offseason preview here on Inside the Zone with Mateo. So glad you're choosing to click on this video. If it's for the first time or you've been following our series, this is day 7 of 30 Teams in 30 Days here on June 7th, 2026. Appreciate you guys for watching. I'm Mateo. I host a podcast here on the YouTube channel, but also we post on Spotify, iHeartRadio, almost wherever you can get your podcasts. You can find so much more info in our channel description, but without further ado, let me explain what 30 Teams in 30 Days is, because you might be clicking on this for the first time, and now you might have to go do a little bit more watching, because, yes, this is day 7. We, for the past 6 days, and for the next 20-plus days, we're going to be doing one episode a day. We normally just do 2 episodes a week for sports, but since there are 30 teams in the NBA and 30 days in June, we spend one day looking at each individual NBA team, previewing their offseason, recapping their season, and so much more. So I say, we're taking a deep dive through each NBA team during the month of June. We're doing every team. We go in order of worst record to best record. So we've done the Wizards, Pacers, Nets, Jazz, and Kings, and the Grizzlies. We did the Grizzlies yesterday. So now it is the Dallas Mavericks today, the first 26-win team. Then you got the Pelicans tomorrow, and then we get to 30-win teams starting June 9th. I believe that will be a Tuesday, starting off with the Chicago Bugs. But Chicago Bulls, not Bugs. My goodness gracious. But yeah, I feel like we just got to jump in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell button on so you never miss any episodes. And without further ado, Mateo's Show Batting Order, presented by To Be Determined. If you'd like to sponsor this segment, which we use all across the channel, it doesn't matter what podcast, we use it all over. So feel free, hit me up, DM on me on X. You can send me an email, whatever. But other than that, let's just get into it. It's the same batting order for all of these 30 episodes here in June. We normally have a different one based off of, whatever we're talking about on the podcast, but we're talking about really the same thing for each NBA team. The batting order, basically just a show roadmap, if you will, to just kind of have a good idea of where we're going. Just 5 things here on the batting order that we're using for this series here in June of 2026. Number 1 is how well did this team do last season, who I think they should draft, who I think they should keep from their UFA and RFAs, who I think they should target in free agency or via the trade market. And also, finally, we always wrap it up with what is their early ceiling and floor if they make the moves that I suggest or if they choose to keep their team relatively the same. So without further ado, let's get into it. It's the Dallas Mavericks time, boys. Man, this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be a fun one today. The 25-26 season. They had a very interesting season. They had the Rookie of the Year. Spoiler, if you don't know the Rookie of the Year, it was Cooper Flagg, Rookie of the Year. They were 26-56, 12th spot in the Western Conference, in the loaded Western Conference, I might add. Their Rookie of the Year, Cooper Flagg, averaging 21 points a game, was their top scorer. Their top assister, Andrew Nembhard. The top rebounder was P.J. Washington. We'll talk about their draft and their draft picks in a little bit. But without further ado, let's get over here to ESPN. Take a look at some of their player stats from the 25-26 season. As already mentioned, Cooper Flagg, 21 points a game, was a team leader in points. We're going to ignore Anthony Davis, and we're going to ignore some other players because they got traded midway in the season, so we don't really care about them. They're not really on the team anymore. But Marshall, 15 points a game. Oh, by the way, Cooper Flagg, his full stat line was 21 points a game. He was averaging about 7 rebounds a game and almost 5 assists a game. He had one heck of a rookie season. Marshall, in 74 games played, he averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. P.J. Washington in 56 games, 14 points, 7 rebounds exactly, and then almost 2 assists per game. Brendan Williams, 13 points a game, nothing much else in any of those other stats. Klay Thompson, it's unfortunate. I really like Klay Thompson. He, sure, he averaged 12 points, but then 2 rebounds, 1 assist. That's not very good. D'Angelo Russell, 10 points a game, 2 rebounds, but he did get 4 assists, being one of those starting point guards in replace of the injured Kyrie Irving, who did not play at all last season because, yes, of his Achilles injury or ACL injury, one of those. He's set to return. Obviously, Minnesota Timberwolves, as a fan of the Timberwolves, we cover the Timberwolves a lot here on the podcast. We've been linked to we've been linked to Kyrie Irving. Of course, we'll get to the trade simulator, maybe figure out a trade that both teams could agree to. I think Kyrie probably could easily get moved in the offseason. I think, he's getting older. I think, I guess we can foreshadow a little bit. I definitely think the Mavericks are headed towards not a rebuild, but they're just trying to get some younger players in the organization. I do see a scenario where Kyrie Irving does stay, and then you try to see what happens with Kyrie Cooper, but it's going to be really interesting. Other than that, Chris Middleton played 29 games. He averaged 10 points in that time, which is pretty cool. He's going to be a free agent, though, at the end of the season. Daniel Gafford struggled with injuries again. He averaged 9 points, I believe 7 rebounds and an assist. Nembhard, again, he averaged a lot of it. He was a team leader in assists, but other than that, just didn't really get anything going off of shooting and really anything else, unfortunately. Shooting stats I did want to say. For Cooper Flag, he was shooting a whopping 47% from the floor. It was a really, really strong rookie year from Cooper Flag. I'm really excited to see what Cooper Flag is going to do. I was shocked, pretty much as everybody was shocked, when the Mavericks got the first overall selection, but maybe it was a blessing in disguise, because now really it seems like he's like the only good player besides Kyrie Irving on this team, or key star player, if you will, because now they traded Luka Doncic in that weird trade a couple years ago for Anthony Davis. Well, guess what? Anthony Davis, he's no longer on this team as well. He's over there in Washington. It's just kind of weird, bro. It's kind of weird, but they do have a pick. They have the 9th overall pick, and I guess that's a perfect transition point to talk about the draft here, because they have the 9th overall pick. And we're going to go over here to the draft, where we're going to preview this specific team. In this case, it will be the Dallas Mavericks. We're going to preview their upcoming draft, addressing their biggest need, in my opinion, simulating a mock draft to see who is on the board potentially for their group. So with this, before we go to the mock draft, which is going to be on ESPNanalytics.com/NBA draft simulator, we're going to take a look at their depth chart to see, or to try to evaluate this depth chart a little bit to see what position could be needed before we even take a look at who could even be on the board at pick 9. I don't think they're going to trade up. That's what I'm going to say. I think they're going to take whoever they get at 9. I think pick 9 is a pretty solid position to be in. And when you're looking at this lineup, we're going to just start off saying, okay, Kyrie Irving, let's say he stays. And I think if he doesn't go to the Timberwolves, if he doesn't maybe go to, I could see him maybe ending up in Milwaukee if the Bucks decide to keep Giannis, but it doesn't seem like that. I think it's either Minnesota or Dallas for Kyrie Irving. Maybe. I'm trying to think of another team that could go. And off the top of my head, we'll go through some trade proposals that people have put around social media. But I just can't think off the top of my head another clear candidate for Kyrie Irving. So let's just say Kyrie Irving stays with Dallas for now. And I think it doesn't really affect the choice of who I think, or the position choice that I think they're going to draft here with pick 9. But Kyrie Irving, Max Christie, Cooper Flag, PJ Washington, Derek Lively looking like to be your starting 5. If everything kind of holds the same. You got Brendan Williams, RJ Nembhard Jr. kind of as your backup point guards. You got Marshall as your backup shooting guard. Klay Thompson can also play shooting guard as well, but he's also listed as your backup small forward. Then you got Chris Middleton, who's going to probably be a free agent, I believe. Daniel Gafford is your backup center. Your center group, and you also have Bagley. You have some solid centers. There's some teams that need centers. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll talk about that when we get to the trade rumors. I love having fun with those trade machines. Maybe, you move Bagley. Maybe you move Gafford. I don't know, because you have a lot of key centers, and some teams need centers, and they got some valuable assets. But obviously, when you're just looking at this, the shooting guard position is definitely the less deep. The less deep. I'm trying to think of the word. Not as depth-filled of a position, if you will. Max Christie, he's all great, but I'm saying he's probably a solid backup 2 guard, not a starting 2 guard. And thankfully for the Dallas Mavericks, there are a lot of guards in general. Point guards, shooting guard, they can kind of play either position in the draft. As you can see, Wagler, Flemings, Acuff, Brown. There's so many Burries. All of these guys, one of these guys are going to be available. So yeah, we'll go through the draft a little bit here. We're just going to go through pick 9 or 10 or so. I don't think they're going to make a trade. We're just going to go here. Devonta goes 1. Peterson goes 2. Boozer goes 3. Caleb Wilson goes 4. Acuff goes 5. Very interesting. Flemings goes 6. Michael Brown. And then Wagler. So, yeah, Braden Burries, I think most likely going to be, I think that just makes the most sense. I don't think, like I'm saying here, if you wanted like a forward or a center, I would consider moving down to try to get like a Hans Steinbeck around pick 15. Who has pick 15? The Bulls, right? Like that could be interesting. But I think right now you need a guard. And maybe if you wanted a Brown or a Wagler, maybe Wagler does fall to 8 and you say, oh, he's still on the board. Maybe I'm going to trade one up with Atlanta and then try to go grab him. I think, though, for the time being here, I think Braden Burries is a very good selection here. The guard, the 6'4" guard out of Arizona. I think that's a solid fit. I think he can play the shooting guard. He can also play the point guard if you need. I think Burries is a very good acquisition or just acquiree, if you will, for the Dallas Mavericks. And I think we'll see them take one of these 3 guards, I'm guessing. I think Flemings, Acuff probably go top 6, maybe top 7. I don't know. Wagler keeps falling in these mock drafts. It's really interesting. Maybe they make a move. Maybe if they say, oh, maybe these 2 teams, maybe the Nets, the Clippers, maybe even if the Kings pass up, maybe they trade up and try to go grab Wagler, who's 6'6" guard. Definitely more built for the shooting guard position rather than the point guard position. So, again, it's very interesting. I think pick 9 is a very good spot to be in. I think if they were at pick 10, they would maybe have to consider trading up because I don't think you need Yaxel. I don't think you need Nate Amen. I think you definitely need one of these guards, but you're blessed to be in a solid position where you probably should get one of those guards. So, without further ado, that is going to be what I'm thinking for their draft. I don't think they have any key second-round picks, so we'll kind of just ignore that for the time being. But now, this is kind of where the free agency frenzy begins, if you will. For these episodes, for 30 teams in 30 days, we split the free agency talk into really 2 different sections. The first part, the start of free agency, as you can see if you're on my YouTube, you can read it. The team's first part of free agency where they decide who they should keep and who they should let walk. Basically, I'll give you my opinion on who I think they should sign and stuff. And then the second half will be the open market, who I think they should bring in, what trade offers, and that's where we'll spend the most of the rest of the episode, probably, the last 15 minutes or so, because I love trade machines. I love finding contract deals. But anyway, here are their own free agents. Again, there are quite a few names here. A lot of unrestricted free agents. We've been using this pen. I really like using this pen because I just think it's kind of nice, especially for my YouTube audience, just to kind of follow me where I'm going here. We're going to start at the bottom here. These 2-way players, I think they definitely take both of them. Why did that look so weird? Hold up. Yeah, I think both of them, 2-way players, they're solid. I think, 21, 24 years old. Pretty solid. They take that. I think they take the club option for sure on Ryan Nembhard. But then there's, of course, all of these unrestricted free agents. And now here's the thing. Bagley is a unrestricted free agent, meaning he can sign anywhere. And he is also a non-bird. So the non-bird means you can't go over the salary cap to sign. Since that, with the bird, you can go over the salary cap to re-sign Middleton, to re-sign Powell, to re-sign Williams. You can't do that with Bagley. I think Bagley, though, out of these guys, is the one you have to re-sign, not just because he's talented, but he's also a valuable trade piece come trade deadline time, or maybe to just have it if you decide, okay, maybe we're going to move on from Daniel Gafford, maybe we're going to move on from Derek Lively to try to go get something better. I think keeping Bagley is a very smart decision. He's only 27 years old. He's going to be entering his 8th year. I think Chris Middleton, 35 years old. Same thing with Powell. They were just guys, salary fillers to move Anthony Davis. Really, $31 million, bro, from Chris Middleton was absolutely insane. I think you let him walk for sure. That's probably the easiest one here. I think Dwight Powell, you let him walk as well. And then Brendan Williams, just to have a backup point guard, a younger point guard, I think you take him. So these top 2 guys, Middleton and Powell, you definitely let walk, I think. It just makes the most sense. And then you try to re-sign the bottom half of these guys. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think. If you're a Mavericks fan, let me Let me know what you guys think. Like, do you want Chris Middleton back? Like, maybe you want Chris Middleton back. I personally don't think they want Chris Middleton back. I think again it was just a salary filler for the Anthony Davis trade. But again, what do I know? I'm just somebody who has a microphone and a YouTube channel and just making videos for y'all. But appreciate you guys for watching though. But now we get into the interesting stuff. The rest of the free agency, the second half, and I'm gonna predict who these teams, who the Dallas Mavericks in this case will pursue, who they will sign either by the open market or by a trade. First things first here, I got a couple targets or types of players to target. Actually, it is just players here. 4 guys. I mentioned all of them on last episode. Last episode, we were talking about the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies are in a very different situation. However, they kind of need the similar style players. They need some young guards. As we already looked at the Mavericks depth chart, they got solid forwards and centers. Their guard play is definitely their Achilles heel, if you will. And you even saw it. I mean, say you even keep Kyrie Irving, but he gets hurt again because he's injury prone. You're going to need somebody to step in there, and that's a big reason, I think, why they lost as many games as they did, because they didn't have somebody to fill in for Kyrie Irving because he missed the entire season. Right? So, like, a guy like Kobe White, a guy like Anthony Simons, a guy like Colin Sexton, all unrestricted free agents could be very, very interesting, targets for the Dallas Mavericks. I also put Rui Hachimura question marks. I did Rui question mark. I did this one with the Grizzlies as well. I think this team makes a little bit more sense for Hachimura than the Grizzlies. But, he's a power forward. And why I keep saying this is I know people say, well, I think Hachimura is going to just go back to the Lakers. They have a bird option on him and stuff. Yeah, it makes sense. But PJ Washington has been very injury prone as well. And if you can maybe get a replacement for him and maybe we're going to take advantage, maybe somebody else wants him, get a pick or something for him, or maybe some younger players in return, clear some salary cap, then sign Hachimura. Imagine pairing Cooper Flag, Hachimura, and Rui. That just kind of sounds a little cool. Again, it's a question mark. That one I'm not as caught up in as, say, a Kobe White. I think a Kobe White would be awesome here. I think an Anthony Simons would be awesome here. Colin Sexton here. Obviously, we'll see what the Bulls and Hornets do with those respective players. But again, let me know who's a top target for y'all for the Dallas Mavericks. Who you think they should go out and pursue via the open market. We'll talk about trades in a second. But here's a quick list of some of these unrestricted free agents. Obviously, LeBron James there. If they can somehow pull LeBron to Dallas, that would be something crazy. As there's Chris Middleton, John Collins. I mean, again, I just don't think they need more forwards unless it may be a Rui Hachimura. Anthony Simons, Harrison Barnes is there. That could be interesting. Colin Sexton, mentioned him already. Kelly Olynyk, Kobe White, Gabe Vincent, Luke Kennard, Quentin Grimes, Ayo Dosunmu. We'll see. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely Nick Richards. There's a lot of flexibility here in free agency for the Dallas Mavericks. They have quite a bit of cap space as well. I'm wanting to see Dallas's free agents for next season because I don't remember. So it's just Klay Thompson right now and Marshall. Like they have that, which means basically like they got a lot more flexibility. So like really whoever they lock in is going to be for more. They're not going to have to deal with that many injuries for not any free agents walking, away. You're going to have really a lot of control you're going to have control on almost all your players entering the next season. So I just thought that was interesting. I just was interested in that as we are having these discussions. But of course, those are just some targets to acquire via the open market. There's of course other players that could be available via the trade. And, fanspo.com, bro. Fanspo.com is amazing. I love Fanspo. Get on Fanspo. They're an amazing website. They are one heck of a website. Trade machines. Just a great NBA community posting trade proposals, all that. And actually, we're going to go over here. We're going to go to trade proposals before we go to the trade machine because I want to see what people are, saying about Kyrie because we're going to put I don't see Kyrie in this. I see KD, not Kyrie. I feel like that could be an interesting move. Yeah, we're gonna put Kyrie Irving here, and let's see. We're gonna make sure. I mean, do you trending or new? We're gonna do the newest. We're gonna do the newest ones here. Actually, now we'll probably do trending. Trending's probably better. I just want to make sure it's not too old. 3 months ago is fine. So the first one here. I'm just gonna give you some thoughts here as it doesn't go through right now. Ignore the failed stuff. These are just all experiments. When I do my trades, I like to make sure they are successful trades. But this is just to get us an idea here. So the Raptors get Kyrie Irving in this. In this trade, Raptors get Kyrie, Daniel Gafford, Klay Thompson, an expiring deal in this scenario, Santi Aldama, while the Grizzlies get RJ Barrett. And then the Mavericks get quickly Jakob Poeltl, 2 firsts, and Walter and Pip. Ooh. This is interesting. I mean, let me know what you guys think about all of these trades that we're going to talk about, whether it's from other people's or mine that I put together. Let's break this down here first. The Grizzlies, we talked about the Grizzlies yesterday. I didn't see this trade yesterday. Grizzlies basically trade Aldama and Scottie Pippen for RJ Barrett. Like, that, first of all, just doesn't make sense. Kyrie, Thompson, Gafford for quickly Poeltl, Walker, 2 firsts. That doesn't make sense either. I'm a little confused about this trade. I don't like it. All right, I'm sorry. I don't like it. I apologize. I don't know why that's the most. I just don't like that. Okay, this says Minnesota getting Giannis. Obviously, I'm intrigued because I'm a Timberwolves fan. This is also a success. Okay. This one is interesting. Yeah, this one's interesting. Okay, let's break this down. I like this. All right, first of all, Kyrie. Kyrie goes to the Raptors. I think the Raptors, yeah, that team makes a little bit more sense too. Irving, Gobert, and Thompson, a bunch of veterans, go help the Raptors out. The Bucks. Okay, cool. We're going to talk about the Bucks in a second. Timberwolves, in return for Gobert, some first, a second, Randall. Who else are we giving up? DiVincenzo on that. Okay. That's all they have to give up to get Giannis. That's crazy. They also get Gafford and Portis. I think the Timberwolves will have to give up more, but that's okay. Oh, and Baron J. Okay, I see that. Okay, that's fine. Then the Mavs get quickly. Okay, that's a solid. So really here, I'm just sorry. I'm just trying to break this down so it's not confusing because there's a lot going on here. They get Miles Turner, another center, because yes, they do trade Daniel Gafford away. Okay. Then they replaced Kyrie with quickly. They also get a first. They get DiVincenzo, so here's the thing. DiVincenzo now is not going to most likely play this season because of that injury. So maybe you need an additional pick, but they get a first and second. So first, second, DiVincenzo, Turner, and quickly for essentially Irving. And Gafford. Oh, man. I mean, there's a lot going on. I can't believe this is successful. Props to this guy, whoever created this. This was 2 weeks ago. Okay. Then for Giannis, I just want to break this down here for the Bucks. They get Ingram, Randall, Poeltl, Baron J, 1, 2, 3, 4 first-round picks, and 3 second-rounders. I mean, I think the return for Giannis, that looks solid. I think that looks solid for sure. The Raptors giving up Ingram, Poeltl, 2 firsts, right? And quick. I mean, they're giving up a lot. I don't know if the Raptors are willing to give up that much just for Kyrie, Gobert, and Klay Thompson. There's a lot going on here. So for the Mavericks, this is a Mavericks video here. Sorry, there's just a lot going on. Let me know what you guys think. Mavericks for Kyrie and Gafford, essentially, and Klay Thompson. Get an injured Dante, a first, a second, Miles Turner, who's under contract for the next 4 years, and quickly who's under. Okay, so I mean, they get younger. I like it. I do like it. I like it for the Mavericks. I like it for the Raptors. Just the thing here for the T-Will is like, if you can get this much for giving up what you're giving up, I'll take it. But then the Bucks part of the trade, I think this actually legit works. I do think this works. Man, I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot. This is something interesting. I might have to do another full, just an episode breaking down this trade because, I mean, hey, for the Timberwolves too, like this is also where I'm probably second thinking it because I'm a Timberwolves fan. Timberwolves give up Randall, Bear, and Jay. Picks I don't care about. Throw the picks away. I don't care. DiVincenzo. That's all, and Gobert. For Giannis, Gafford, and Portis. Like, how do you get that much and bro, forget. You give up nothing. But then the Bucks get what they deserve for Giannis. Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, Baron J. They get so much as they get 4. The Bucks get a solid return. I like that for the Bucks. I like it for the Timberwolves, surprisingly. For the Raptors, they get Kyrie, they get Rudy Gobert, and they get Thompson. They need veterans. That's a big thing I'm going to talk about as well once we get to the Raptors. They need veterans. I like it. Now for the Mavericks. Do I like it for the Mavericks? I like it for the Mavericks. They get younger. They get a first. They get a second. Maybe you throw in an additional first from someone, maybe from the Raptors. Other than this, let's see what people are saying. Bucks decline. Send the pick going to the Mavericks to the Bucks instead and swap Randall for McDaniels, and the Bucks would do it. McDaniels isn't going anywhere. Yeah, I don't think McDaniels, we'll see. Giannis isn't as valuable as you think. He's an aging player who has injury history. I don't know. Okay. All right, buddy. You ain't getting a top 4 player for scraps. That's not scrap. Dude, this is crazy. People think this is Mavericks for sure. Only giving up 3 players, 2 past prime, barely getting minutes. Yeah, they take this. Give the picks to the Mavs. Give the pick going to the Mavs to the Bucks. So, okay, we could do this. That's just what people were saying here. Sorry, I was just reading some comments on Facebook. Sorry for the audio audience if that was a little confusing. The Mavericks get DiVincenzo, who's injured, and you get mostly Turner and Quickly to center around Cooper Flag for Irving, Klay Thompson, who's aging, Kyrie, who didn't just Irving didn't play, and then Gafford, sure, whatever. I like it. And then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the Bucks would get 5 picks in that revised offer. I like this trade. It took a while to get there, but I like this trade. Let me know. Guys. I like this trade. I do like this trade. Okay. Let me know what you guys think about this trade. Wow, 1.2K views. Yeah, people have seen this. Like, this is crazy. And then there was also the thing where you could swap McDaniels for Randall. You could do that. I just don't think. I think Randall would be swapped somewhere else then. Maybe Randall then goes to Dallas because, I mean, I was thinking originally if we were going to get Kyrie, if the Timberwolves were going to get Kyrie, it would be Randall going to Dallas because him and Cooper could be interesting. Man, bro, that was interesting. This is an interesting trade. I like that. All right, let's see if there's any other crazy ones. Yeah, so here's something that this doesn't work financially, but this is something I was thinking. Randall for Kyrie, and then you got Johan, Baron J, and a first. I don't want to give up Baron J for Kyrie. All right, let's go to the trade machine. Let me work a little bit. Let's work here. Kyrie, the 4th most traded player here on Fanspo, by the way. Timberwolves and the Mavs. All right, so I think this is the most realistic trade for the most realistic trade partner for Kyrie. I think Toronto, now the more that I think about it, does work. Timberwolves get Kyrie, and then obviously I think it has to be Julius Randle. And then would they take the Dante? Would they take? Do you think they would take the Dante contract? And then maybe we throw in like, I don't want to throw in Shannon. I don't want to throw Shannon in this. But like, does this work financially? Yeah. Okay. You can throw in a pick. Throw in a pick, and I'm fine. Throw in, yeah. Here's what you can do. This is what you can totally do. We 2032, because we don't have our 2031, so we can't trade that. We can trade this one though. Right? Failed? Oh my gosh. Picks would be whatever. Something like this. A pick Dante and Julius for Kyrie, I think could make sense for the Timberwolves, but it would also make sense. I keep forgetting this is after all a Mavericks episode. I think this could. I mean, Dante. Who knows? Maybe he's a Tatum speedy recovery. I don't want to give up Dante, but for the salary money, makes sense. Makes sense. We'll talk about more about this with the Timberwolves coming. I think the third week of June, but yeah, bro, there's so many trades. I mean, let's see if I can do like just a 1-for-1 Mavericks with because the Raptors, I guess, keep coming up here. Who would the Mavericks get from the Raptors? That would make sense. I think they would definitely need a point guard. So yeah, I think I really like the Emmanuel Quickly. Their contracts almost line up perfectly. You get Quickly for Irving, and then I think you could probably get somebody else. Maybe like RJ Barrett. No, RJ Barrett's too young. That they're not going to give him up. Jakob Poeltl, like, do you swap Poeltl for Gafford? Poeltl's actually older than Gafford, though, so maybe not. Colin Murray Boyles, he's young. He's not going to. Grady Dick, maybe, or maybe Walker. Like one of these younger guys that aren't making as much money. Fansville's going to say it doesn't go through because of there's a club option. But Kyrie, definitely valuable. You get Walker and Quickly. Like, would something like this work financially? I know it's going to say failed. Under perfect. It would work. It would work. Okay. I think something like this is realistic for Kyrie. You got both of these players over three years of team control for an injury-prone, aging guy, but I think this helps the Raptors too. So I think something like this. I mean, there's so many options here, and this is just Kyrie. The Mavericks are one of the most intriguing teams in the offseason because they can do legit so much. Who's another team that could use Kyrie before we go? I mean, do the Bucks try to get Kyrie and so they do Kyrie Giannis? I don't think that happens. Is there another Western Conference team like the Pelicans? Wait, they have Jeremiah Fears though. I don't think that would go well. Clippers maybe. Wait, I have an idea. Hold up. Jamal Murray goes to the Mavericks. People would lose their mind if this happens. I think this is definitely the most unrealistic. This is just my mom playing tricks on me now. Jamal Murray for Kyrie, and then you have to give them a younger piece. Caleb Martin, he's 30. Maybe Marshall. You do Marshall and Kyrie, another blockbuster. Now Murray goes there. I just want to make sure this works financially. Yes, it would. And then, do you give up the pick from this year? I don't think so. I think you can use the pick you got in the Luka Doncic trade. And then I think you can get rid of the 32 pick as well. So 2 firsts. Is this Kyrie, Marshall, and 2 firsts for Jamal Murray? I don't know. This would work financially, right? Yeah. That could be interesting. I don't know if the Nuggets do it. I don't know if they do it, but they get 2 firsts for Murray. They get Marshall. And they also get Kyrie, who I don't know if you'll take Kyrie over Murray, but that could be interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below on all those things. I mean, that big trade piece was crazy. That 4-team trade, that was crazy. Absolutely insane. I don't know. Or maybe they go with some smaller moves, make some a Kobe White acquisition or Simons or Sexton or Rui Hachimura. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. That's the fun of these things, though. We're previewing it. All these different they can take all these different roads, all these right, and there's maybe a road going to the right, to the left, straight. They got to choose their path, and we'll see what the Dallas Mavericks choose to do. Maybe they don't do anything, and they just think, okay, maybe Kyrie and Cooper Flag is good enough for us to win. But now, the last thing we do here, again, current ceiling and floor. So if they make moves, there's going to be a ceiling, and if they don't really make moves and keep their team relatively the same, that's kind of my key phrase for this, if they keep their team relatively the same, what is their ceiling? So without the moves I suggest, I think this team is good enough to make it to the first round. I don't know if they win a series. However, if they make one of the moves, whether it's a free agency signing, whether it's a Kyrie trade, I do think they could have the ability, depending on the right move, to at least get a series win in the postseason. I think it's relatively the same, though. I think they're in the same area no matter what. But, man, there's so many different directions this team could go in. Let me know what direction you think the Mavericks car is going to go in, if you will. But appreciate you guys for watching. New team coming out tomorrow, bro. Oh, man, we're going to be a week into this tomorrow because this is 7 episodes in. 23 or 24 more to go, something like that. Yeah, 23 to go because 30 minus 7, 23 episodes to go, bro. 3 more weeks of this. Can't wait for you. Can't wait to get into all these teams that, just going to keep getting even more exciting as we get to teams closer and closer to a potential playoff spot. It's going to be lit, bro. It's going to be lit. Just a quick reminder, our episodes will go back to a Tuesday and Thursday episodes after this series, just because, that's just for my schedule. But every day here in June, you're going to get a new episode. Appreciate you guys for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Turn the notification bell button on so you never miss any episodes. That's just a list on the screen of, what you can find here on the channel. Try to post daily shorts, etc., etc. And here's one more look at that schedule. Tomorrow, the New Orleans Pelicans. Is the Zion Williamson experiment over? That and so much more tomorrow on episode 8, on June 8th, on episode 8 of 30 teams in 30 days here on Inside the Zone with Mateo. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to keep God first because he's the most important thing in your lives. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.